Next, you'll want to consider background color, if you want a solid color or a gradient. So on a new layer, click new layer near the bin, you can choose either a gradient on G or a paint bucket for a flat color. So I've chosen a flat color and I've filled it here with a blue, so all the colors still come out. On top of this, I'm going to use the warped shape, this warp here. So I'm going to go on this layer and I'm going to use a selection tool for a circle, marquee selection, hold shift. I'm going to select part of that, copy and paste, then hide that layer, and now I've got a selection of that shape. Remember to think about scale. Everything shouldn't be enormous on your design. You should consider using negative space, using flat color, or even just white space. Next thing I'm going to explore is typography. Now, one way that you can do this is you can create a shape. So this shape here I'm going to use to help align my type. So you can make a shape just like Paul Assure's work and start to consider where your typography can go. I'm going to click on T, the type tool. I'm going to use a white. I'm going to select my font. If you're on CC, you can filter it here. So I could use a sans serif or a slab serif. I'm going to use sans serif font. And once I've chosen, I'm going to use Helvetica. I'm going to zoom in on this space, click the space bar, left click and drag so you can move around. Because this hasn't been rasterized yet and it's still selected, I can start to explore how this can line up. I quite like how that has been lined up there, so I'm going to use Alt-click and I'm going to duplicate it. If you hold Shift, it tries to stay on that line. If you don't, it can go anywhere you want. But I'm going to hold Shift, and then I'm going to select it again. But this time I'm going to consider direction and scale. I'm going to reduce the scale of this. We'll zoom in. Now this might work with smart guides, so I could snap to guides and see if this will snap slightly. I don't like how the Y and the T are lining up there. So on the type tool, brings up all the information here. On this layer, with the type selected, I'm going to click on my character panel, and I'm going to select just these two letter forms to try and adjust the spacing between them. And as you can see, it started to change the spacing, and that's a little bit better. It's moved across. So that's the next step, is to explore type. On your design.